morning of Tuesday, September 11th, 2001 was a beautiful, clear day here in Clarksville, Tennessee. As we all stand here today, I think that most of us will agree that September 11th, 2001 is the day that many people of my generation will never forget. We all remember where we were and what we were doing the moment that we heard the news that the first airplane hit the first World Trade Center tower. It wasn't until the second plane hit Tower 2 that the fear set in for me. My husband's Fort Campbell unit was training at Fort Hood, and my heart told me that once our government determined who was responsible for attacking our great country, that the men and women of Fort Campbell would somehow play a huge role. The timeline of events for September 11, 2001 are as follows. Early in the morning, 19 hijackers took control of 4 commercial airliners en route to San Francisco and Los Angeles from Boston, Newark, and Washington, D.C. At 8:46 a.m., American Airlines Flight 11 was crashed into World Trade Center's North Tower, followed by U.S. Airlines Flight 175, which hit the South Tower at 9:03 a.m. Another group of hijackers flew American Airlines Flight 77 into the Pentagon at 9:37 a.m. A fourth flight, United Airlines Flight 93, whose ultimate target was thought to be either the United States Capitol or the White House, crashed near Shanksville, Pennsylvania at 10:03 a.m. after the passengers on board engaged in a fight with the hijackers. 3 buildings in the World Trade Center complex collapsed due to structural failure on that day of the attack. The South Tower fell at approximately 9:55 a.m. after burning for 56 minutes in a fire caused by the impact of United Airlines Flight 175. The North Tower collapsed at 10:28 a.m. after burning for approximately 102 minutes. When the North Tower collapsed, debris heavily damaged the nearby 7 World Trade Center building. Its structural integrity was further compromised by fires and the building collapsed later that day at 5:20 p.m. Casualties of the September 11th attacks. Deaths. World Trade Center, 2,606 people died, and another 24 remain listed as missing. American Airlines Flight 11, 87 people died. United Airlines Flight 175, 60 people died. The Pentagon, 125 people died. American Airlines Flight 77, 59 people died. United Flight 93, 40 people died. In total, 2,977 died and another 24 remain listed as missing. A total of 411 emergency workers who responded to the scene died as they attempted to rescue people and fight fires. The New York City Fire Department lost 341 firefighters and 2 FDNY paramedics. Our Honor Guard has their flag today. The New York Police Department lost 23 police officers. Our Honor Guard also has their flag today. The Port Authority Police lost 37 officers. An additional 8 EMT and paramedics from private EMS units were killed. Weeks after the attacks, the estimated death toll was just under 3,000, including citizens from over 115 nations. Please pause for a moment of silence for those who lost their lives on September 11, 2001, and for those who have lost their lives in support of Operation Enduring Freedom and Iraqi freedom. In my opinion, if any good came out of September 11th attacks to our country, it was a newfound feeling of patriotism. American flags that were traditionally displayed on national holidays were now being displayed daily in a show of rekindled patriotic pride. In the beginning of this speech, I mentioned that September 11, 2001 is a day that people of my generation will never forget. For my mother's generation, it was the assassination of President John F. Kennedy. The defining events of my generation are Operation Enduring Freedom and Operation Iraqi Freedom. For my mother's generation, it was the Vietnam War. The difference between the two is that when the men and women that served in Vietnam came home from their deployments, they were treated as outcasts and criminals. 9 years after September 11, 2001, the men and women of Fort Campbell are still deploying in support of Operation Enduring Freedom and Operation Iraqi Freedom. To date, 1,147 American military service members have died in support of Operation Enduring Freedom. To date, 4,418 American military service members have died in support of Operation Iraqi Freedom. When these men and women come home from deployments, they are welcomed home as heroes. They are treated with admiration and respect. The events that took place on September 11, 2001 may well be responsible for the honor and pride that Americans now have for members of our military, police, and fire departments. It may also be responsible for the rekindled patriotism that we all feel today. As we go about celebrating Riverfest, please think about how lucky we are to be living in a military community where we are protected by great soldiers, police officers, and firefighters. Thank you.